Hello guys and gals, Buffalo here, and today we're taking a look at another type of slug with the TriStar Viper G2 410 bore. Whoa, not that type of slug. We're actually taking a look at these Brenneke USA Magnum Slugs. Now these are a 410 bore. It says 410 gauge on the box, but in all actuality, we all know that 410 is actually a bore diameter and not really a gauge. If it were a true gauge, it would come out to be like, I don't know, 67 gauge or something along those lines. So 410 is the bore diameter. These are loaded in a 3-inch shell, so they are a 3-inch Magnum shell for the 410. They're advertised here on the back at being a 1/4 ounce, but it goes on in parentheses to say 114 grains. Well, a 1/4 ounce doesn't actually come out to be 114 grains. It would be a little over 109 grains. Something like 109 3/8 of a grain equals a 1/4 ounce. So since they put 114 grains in parentheses there, I went ahead and cut one of these, the crimp from one of these shot shells, and weighed it on my RCBS light scale just to see what one actually weighed. And with the wadding, the base, that's a stabilizing base that actually flies with the slug. So you would have to count that as part of the weight that travels down the downrange. So with that included, I came up with 116.8 grains, which is very close to the advertised 114 grains on the back of the box. And without the stabilizing wad, I got 106.9. Now, if I wanted to get a average and be more precise, I'd cut about 10 of these open and weigh them, but I'm not going to do that. These things cost over $1 a piece, so I'm just going to do the one. It kind of gives us an idea. They are pretty close to the advertised weight. Okay, so here's a little better look at the one that I cut out of the shot shell. You can see it's got that plastic base, and that helps to stabilize it as it travels down range. You can see the rifling on the slug itself. Now, you can shoot these through a rifled barrel. I don't know of anybody that makes a 410 rifled barrel. Somebody in the comments let me know if there is, but it can be fired through a rifled barrel or a rifled choke. I don't have either, just got the smooth bore here. And Brenneke doesn't recommend shooting these through anything tighter than an improved cylinder choke. I don't have a cylinder bore choke for the TriStar Viper G2 410. The only choke, the most open choke that I have is the improved cylinder. So that's the tightest that Brenneke says to use, and it's the most open choke I have. So that's the choke that we're going to use today. Okay, so I'm a little bit ahead of the curve today. I've been down here already this morning, and I shot a box of 5 of these over the Caldwell Chronograph at 15 feet from the Chronograph. I'll go ahead and roll that footage in right now and let you guys take a look at it. So I ended up with a mean or average velocity of 1,750 feet per second, which is moving right along. And turns out it's very close to what's advertised on the back of the box. They've got it advertised with a muzzle velocity of 1,755 feet per second, so pretty much spot on. You don't see that a lot of times. A lot of times manufacturers, they'll test their slugs through a 30-inch barrel and advertise those pumped up numbers that most people actually never see out of their hunting guns. This TriStar Viper G2 has a 26-inch barrel, So this is real world numbers that they've got here on the back of the box. Also mentions energy in foot-pounds at 781 at the muzzle. So that's the information they give us, pretty much matching up with my findings. So now the only thing left to do is test and see how accurate they are and how they'll cycle. Now, you notice in that clip of shooting over the chronograph, didn't have any trouble whatsoever, cycled great. Didn't have that with the Remington rifled slugs that we tried a couple of weeks ago. So now we'll see if I can shoot these from the prone position and see if they cycle good. And I just want to see what kind of accuracy they'll give us. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we're set up. We're going to try it at 25 yards first, just to see where I'm at. I don't know the point of impact versus point of aim on these slugs yet. This is the first time I've ever shot them on paper, and you guys are here with me. I set it at 25 yards and 50 yards using this little Bushnell rangefinder. In the last video, somebody asked me what model this was. It's a Sport 850. Don't even know if they still offer that anymore. This is several years old. I've had it for a long time. It's been a good one. So let's get it loaded up. We'll put 3 in. See where we're hitting. Getting an incredible amount of mirage. So there's 5 shots. Well, that whole target warps when I look down that vent rib. All the sunlight coming down and the heat from that barrel. Let's go take a look. So the first 3 shots, pretty sure were these 3 right here. And then the barrel heated up on me, and looking down the rib of that barrel at my bead, this orange dot here was just squirming all over the place from heat. That heat mirage off the barrel, and that caused me to throw these other 2. Sounds like I'm making excuses, but it's the truth this time. But overall, we got from center to center about a 2.5 inch group, which not bad. Those first 3 shots would have been a really good group. I see we're getting just a little bit of yaw where that slug's not fully stabilized. You can see it's tearing the cardboard to one side or the other. And when it does that, it's because it's hitting not perfectly straight into the paper. It's kind of hitting at a slight angle there. So we are getting a little bit of yaw with it, but still decent accuracy. And if you notice, the shotgun ran these, whereas it wouldn't run those Remington sluggers that we shot a couple of weeks ago. So very happy with that. And we'll move this back to 50 yards. I'm gonna let the shotgun cool down a minute and we'll try it at 50. Okay, so I said we didn't have any malfunctions on those first 5 shots, but it actually didn't kick out that last empty shell there. Still way better than we did with the Remingtons. So let's load up. Put 3 in. Tell you what, I'm gonna do it a little bit different. We're gonna put 2 in. I'm gonna take 2 shots, set the barrel over in the shade, come back, and then take the other 3 shots. Because that was really messing with me when that barrel was hot. All right, so I'm gonna cut the camera, set the gun in the shade for a minute, and then jump right back in here. All right, so about 5 minutes has passed since I took those first 2 shots. I went and sat in the shade, took the gun over in the shade, let it cool down. Noticed again that it didn't kick out that last empty. So let's shoot the final 3 shots. Of this 50-yard group. All right. Did cycle all 3 of those just fine. Let's go take a look. All right, guys. So that's more like it. We shot basically the same group size at 50 yards as we did at 25 yards. I knew looking at those first 3 shots that this group should have been tighter at 25. I just couldn't see the target. It was moving around so much from that heat mirage coming off the barrel. But as you can see, this is 2.5 inches. This is about 2.5 inches. So you turn that up like that, very similar groups at twice the distance. So little things like that can sure make you shoot better. I knew that should have been a smaller group at 25 yards. 2.5 inches at 50 with a slug from a 410 with no sights on it whatsoever. Man, I'll take that all day long. And with the Brenneke style slug, it's a much stronger slug. It performs more like a hard cast. I get asked about deer hunting with 410 slugs a lot, and it is legal here in Kentucky to do so. If I were going to, and I don't, I've said that before in my other video, I've got too many other options. I don't need to deer hunt with a 410 slug. But if I were going to, this Brenneke slug would be the one that I would use, simply because it drives deep, it penetrates, it doesn't fragment and fall apart the way the Foster or rifled style slugs do. It's just a better slug for that type of hunting. Now it's advertised for smaller game like coyote and things like that, and it's probably better suited to do so, but I'm just addressing the questions I get about deer hunting with the 410 slug. And what I'd like to do, maybe next weekend or the weekend after, I may get us some ribs and make kind of like a Paul Harrell style meat target and pit the 410 Brenneke slug against the 410 rifled slugs and just show you guys the difference that I'm talking about. Those Foster style rifled slugs at such high velocities, the 410 slugs are loaded to a higher velocity than most other slugs, including 12 gauge, 20 gauge. For some reason, they load those 410s light and fast. And those Foster style slugs just typically, they don't hold together when they hit. They come apart and fragment, whereas the Brenneke slug is going to punch a deep hole. So definitely, in my opinion, the better slug for most purposes. But that's really all I got today. Some of you guys may have noticed I'm wearing a Reloaders Network shirt. Be sure and go check those guys out. There's a link in every one of my video descriptions. It's a great place to get information. It's not it's run by gun people, so you don't have to worry about being censored for liking your gun stuff over there. And they do host my videos, so all of my videos get posted over there. Just a good place to find information, an alternative to YouTube and some of the other platforms that kind of don't really want us here. So it's kind of a good place to go. But that's all I got, and I'll talk with you guys again soon.